Hey guys, this is Chris. Welcome to Boards in the Garden. Today I wanted to talk about my experience with my first asymmetrical surfboard, which is by Album, which is the BomDia. I've never ridden a asymmetrical before prior to this one, so I'm a little late to the whole asymmetrical party. But this board has been quite a surprise for me. A little background about myself. Originally from New Hampshire, moved to San Diego about 15 years ago. Been surfing for about 15 years. Um, I am 5'9", right around 165 to 170 pounds. My skill level is around intermediate at best, kind of your average weekend warrior, desk jockey surfer. So I'll post some videos that I have of this board of me surfing, specifically at the Palm Springs Surf Club, which is a blast. I want to talk about this board a little bit more in detail. This is pretty close to the stock dimensions, actually. It's 5'9", 19 and a quarter by 2 and 3/8. I think the website says it's probably around like 29 to 30 liters. So I think this one's a little bit beefed up. Got this used. So the first thing I noticed was how skinny this board is. Compared to some of the other boards I've ridden, 19 and a quarter is relatively skinny for me. So I was a little nervous about that at first, but after getting this into the ocean, paddling it, and even in the pool, the paddle ability really surprised me with how flotacious this board is. I have a beaked nose, and the foam is actually really nicely distributed throughout the board, which a 5'9" in this, like a standard shortboard 5'9" for me would probably be too small. And then with how they distributed the foam at Album, this board paddles insanely well for its size. It paddles bigger than, to me, it paddles bigger than it actually is. So that was a pleasant surprise for me. The conditions that I've surfed this in, when I first got it, I was excited to see how it paddled and see how it went. So I brought it out in about waist high waves, and not the best conditions. But again, I was pleasantly surprised as I was able to get into waves very easily and actually surf them. And I've taken this board out in probably from waist to a little bit overhead, and it performed great. The biggest thing I noticed in regards to asymmetrical shape, or this one in particular, there's quite a big difference in the toe side rail versus the heel side by a few inches. So it shortens that heel side rail line by quite a bit. And what I found, especially for the feeling on the toe side, there's a significant amount of drive off that first pump or any pump thereafter. And when you went on the heel side, there was just a tremendous amount of release and pivotness. It was a really cool feeling, especially with it being a quad setup. It just adds kind of to like the user friendliness of the board, in my opinion. And it's how the fins are set up too. So because of the shortened rail line, these are actually bumped up a little bit. What I found too is that actually makes the board a little bit more forgiving to ride. Just because if your feet are in the, maybe not all the way against the tail pad, you still get some forgiveness with that because the fins are pushed up a little bit. So if your foot's not quite all the way back, you still are right above those heel side fins, allowing the maneuverability. So that was a kind of one of the biggest things I noticed is it's really forgiving if like your feet aren't in the exact perfect spot, and I think you can notice that on like standard performance shortboards the most, in my opinion. And something else I wanted to mention too. So, I think just where this board can kind of fit in your quiver. If an asymmetrical is kind of gonna, in my opinion, fits in my quiver as almost like an alternative to an everyday driver. That's why I kind of bought this board, is I wanted everyday or a daily driver, that I can use instead of like your standard performance shortboard, just to kind of give myself a new feeling. And so I think this would fit in that like everyday or daily driver. You can kind of take it down to the beach if it's waist overhead. Yeah, again, I kind of surfed this in like junky conditions. It worked great. And took it up to Oceanside a few times in like really clean punchy waves, and it was fantastic. Skill level, I think, you know, intermediate to advanced, depending on how you size it. Um, I think really as a daily driver for me, like I just felt 5.9 is kind of like around like a smaller end for me. Like my shortboards are standard, like maybe like 5'10", fine at 5'11" for my standard shortboard. So coming down in size was a little nerve wracking, but I think that because this board paddles so well, and it's the forgiveness of like the fin setup, and your feet don't necessarily need to be in the perfect place, was a benefit overall. I also want to talk about some of the fins I use. So when I bought this, it came with uh, the album fins by Naked Viking Surf, the album BomDia fins. Those were a little bit larger of a template, and I found those worked fantastic in this board. Another set that I use that I really like at the pool, and when the waves have a little bit more like a cup shape to them, or a little bit more punch, is I also grabbed the Naked Viking Surf Peregrine set, which is more of like a pivot fin, so upright. And I found those work really, really well in like punchy beach breaks. Where for me personally, like the BomDia fins work a little bit better for me when there's a little bit more of like an open face, just because they're a larger fin template. It felt like, they like to carve. I mean, Victor Bernardo, and if you've seen his videos, he's like style master, just super powerful. So that was, this is his model that he made with album. Yeah, so kind of final thoughts is, I think this is a great daily driver with the asymmetrical setup. I found it very, very forgiving, very easy to surf. Paddles kind of above its weight class, um, and I wouldn't be afraid of the narrowness of this board, just because of how easy it is to paddle, how easy it is to surf. Makes it really reactive. I would even say too, I mean, if you were kind of looking or had space in your quiver for a step up, if I got this as like a 6.0 or even like a 6.2, I think that would be a crazy travel board, to bring along on trips, or even when it gets really good here in San Diego. Yeah, that would be killer. I also kind of want to mention like initial feelings, because again, this is my first Asym experience, and kind of the one of the biggest things I noticed right off the bat was how much drive you get off of the extra rail line on the toe side, um, and how much projection you get. I'll throw in a couple clips. There's a little clip for me on Surfline, surfing like a tiny wave, and doesn't even look like I'm moving. And I actually like just went up to just do a top turn, and I actually ended up blowing the fins out a little bit, which totally surprised me. I wasn't ready for that, and it just shows how much speed this board generates by itself. So yeah, so final thoughts, I think this is a fantastic board. I'm kind of curious to see if anyone else has ridden this board, and what fin setups you guys have used, whether on this board or another quad style Asym. So that's the whole kind of purpose of me making this channel is, I love surfboards, love talking about them. And I really like to kind of hear what other people are riding, people's thoughts and opinions on whether it's this board as an Asym or another Asym that maybe you found success with that you really like, and the fin setups. Because the whole fin setup deal is a whole nother universe and realm. So yeah, no, I appreciate if you checked in, thank you. Please comment again. Like, I really want to chit chat about boards while kind of throwing my 2 cents into the pond, so to say. So I hope you guys enjoy the channel. If you have any feedback for me in regards to the videos, what you like to see, what you don't like to see, always open to that. So I really appreciate your time.